Oh, I feel a fight night this weekend. All right, let's go take a look here.
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass on, boy.
Get the fuck off the card.
Alrighty, so unfortunately, we got a women's main event we gotta take care of here. But at least it's a fight night. We at least have that. And, as always, I'm here to give my breakdowns of every single fight card of the UFC. I've been watching the sport for a little bit. I'm here to give my thoughts and opinions on the fights here, my overall predictions. Of course, I keep it tracked. I care about my predictions, but I do it based off of passion, not necessarily for gambling purposes. But you're welcome to gamble. I'm not your financial advisor, as the next lightweight champion has said. Actually, technically, the next lightweight champion has said, okay? And if you don't know who I'm referring to, Hanato the Goat Moicano, okay? Anyways, with that being said, let's get straight into the card. God damn it, man. What are they doing to me, UFC? God damn, man. What the fuck are we doing, man? Why is there so many women on this card? Anyways, so if you don't know, I do this tried and true method. Some people, they like to use the pick doctor. Some people like to use logic and reasoning. I, myself, prefer the coin. And if you're curious, the coin has not been negative in a couple months now, I believe. Almost 2 months, I'd say. So this is going to be interesting, okay? Considering how many women there are on this card, this is gonna be pretty interesting with the coins. So heads on the left, tails on the right, and we got heads. All right, what did I say? Heads on the left? I think I said heads on the left. All right, we got heads on the left. That means Dos Santos is winning this via split decision, 29-28, or to be honest, women have been getting finishes, okay? So, maybe there's a finish here, alright? Who knows? It's a women's fight at the end of the day. Who cares? Moving on to the real fights. Marquel Medeiros versus Bolaji Oki. Listen, I can't remember every single fighter's fights. This Medeiros guy rings a bell. 10-1, okay? Upson Hubbard. Damn, that was a month ago? Huh, interesting. That guy? Oh wait, is that the... No, I'm thinking of a different, Q name. Landon Quinones, whatever the fuck. A little bit of inactivity, but, he's coming back, okay? Got a KO in the Contender Series. Eesh. Fuck, I can't remember that fight. What card was that? Let me use my force powers. Austin Hubbard. Oh, I think I remember it now. I think I remember it. I remember him doing very well. It's a tough one. This is a tough one. Balaji Oki's coming off a loss to Chris Duncan. He shot a weird takedown, got caught in a guillotine, eh? Timmy Kawamba, also another longer layoff fighter, eh? This is interesting. This is very interesting. A month... I don't know if I like this. A month after he just fought, I'm very tempted to take the underdog and Medeiros here. What is this? Lightweight? Featherweight? Lightweight. Okay. Height, reach advantage, but that's pretty normal. Age, not too, from Belgium, United States. I'm gonna go with Balaji Oki. Oki's not bad. He does do a lot of good pressure, and I think his grappling isn't that terrible. He just kind of fumbled the bag when it came to Chris Duncan. And hey, Chris Duncan, is Chris Duncan the guy who finished what's his name? Actually, I need to keep this tab open, guys. Chris Duncan. Is this the guy who beat the fucking Can? What? He was heavy favorite, tattoos, Jordan Vucenic? Fucking knew it. Guillotine choke again. God damn, this guy's kind of a fucking killer. Yeah, 2 guillotine chokes in a row. I like that. I kind of like that, not gonna lie. Making sure there's no porn links here. Okay, we're good. All right. For no particular reason, guys. But of course I use incognito. Yeah, I think Balaji Oki's actually pretty good. I do think Chris Duncan is just like that guy. He's like he's almost like a Julian Erosa, you know? Except Julian's like a featherweight, so you know, he's kind of like a Julian Erosa. He's not as tough, okay? He's not as technical, but he's a little bit like a Julian Erosa, you know? So I'm gonna go with Balaji Oki, probably by decision. I do like the long layoff, even though it wasn't like a super damaging fight for him. I think he was even having like a lot of success, but he couldn't beat Chris Duncan's guillotine, I guess, you know, couldn't survive it. So it is what it is. But yeah, you know, I think Chris Duncan's good. I think Balaji Oki's pretty good. So I'm going to go with Balaji Oki, but I wouldn't bet this fight. I mean, Medeiros, you know, crazy win streak this guy's on, but also like the Austin Hubbard fight was like a good performance. And Austin Hubbard, as like shitty as like his sort of ranking is, he's not like the worst fighter, okay? So is he on this card, or is this, am I thinking of, there's no ways, no, where is he? Am I crazy? Oh, it's Kurt Hollybaugh. I think they both fought in the same card, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, Austin Hubbard actually isn't that bad, and I thought that Medeiros clearly won that in my personal opinion. I don't. There's a lot of weird decisions on that card, I'm pretty sure. So I'm gonna go with Balaji Oki here via decision. You know, could get a finish, could get a you know. Nah, we're gonna go with decision. I was gonna say like maybe like a ninja choke type Darce choke situation, but Balaji Oki is the pick. Yeah, I'm not that confident, you know? I'm sensing a little bit of chin problems with Balaji Oki as we move forward, but he's young, man, you know? I'm gonna trust him for now. Okay, so we're going with Balaji Oki. Moving on to Andreas. Holy shit, this fight's already happening? This is a third fight? God damn. Also, there's a lot of, not a lot, but I know there were some fights that fell out, Oban Elliott being one of them, so if Oban fight get added with someone, I'll probably put it in the description, or any sort of changes will be put in the description, as long as they're good fights and I enjoy them. Moving on to Andreas Gustafsson versus Trevin Giles. There is an idea of Trevin Giles, okay? And then there is Trevin Giles, you know? Everyone glazes him for having the best jab. Not really doing him a lot of favors, okay? He kind of can't do anything other than jab at this point in his fucking career. Listen, I don't think he's bad. I think he's got a better chin than a lot of people give him credit for. 9 times out of 10, I don't watch any sort of predictions or anything before I make mine, just because I find it more entertaining that way, so I get no sort of outside information into the brain. No corruption as towards my picks. But Trevin Giles, I know some people are going to say he's chinny, and that's why he's going to lose this fight, because this Andreas Gustafsson guy, listen, I've seen pictures of him. I haven't seen him fight, because I think this is the debut. I'm gonna say, this is a debut. I could have sensed it in my bones. Yeah, I've seen pictures of this guy. This guy's fucking, you know, he looks like straight from prison. All right, you know, just saying. This guy looks like the welterweight Cody Garbrandt, if you will, you know. So a little interesting, but I don't think Trevin Giles does have a bad chin. Like when he got slept, who did he get slept to? It was submission there. It was Carlos Prates. That's who slept him. Number 1, Carlos Prates is Carlos Prates, but number 2. And by that, I just mean he is, like, dangerous at all moments of a fight. But number 2, he did land, like, a very clean, it was a sort of I think it was a left hook, I want to say, while he was against the cage. Carlos Prates did, and just fucking slumped out Trevin Giles. Sick KO. But I don't think, like, that's going to happen. I think Gustafsson... If anything, this could look like a Neil Magny... a Neil Magny Carlos Prates, maybe. Maybe not even that, to be honest. Because I don't think Trevin Giles is going to try to shoot a takedown. Maybe like the Neil Magny, Carlos Prates, where like Trevin Giles gets like wobbled pretty bad, and then you see him finish later in round 1. I just don't think... I do think Trevin Giles isn't that bad, you know? Like, I do think he is... He's got, like, the talent, but it seems like there's some sort of... Similar to, like, David Onama, like, there's talent there. Like, he does have something, you know? But he just needs to work a little bit more at his other stuff, you know? Or I think, actually, Damon Blackshear is a better example. Damon Blackshear, one of the most talented dudes on the ground, but his striking leaves a lot to be desired. Trevin Giles, one of the best jabs... kind of not really aging that well, but he's just lacking everything else. Like his right hand, you know, sorry, not just his right hand, his two kind of sucks, you know, his hooks aren't that great, you know, and he does like plod forward, and I think that's kind of where he's gonna get into some problems here. I think this is gonna be a Gustafsson decisions. I just can't trust Trevin Giles anymore. You know? Like, against Mike Malott, don't get me wrong, I hate Mike Malott. Hey, I'm Canadian, so I get to say it, okay? These fucking hosers, alright? I'm fucking tired of them, alright? From my fucking country, producing pussies like Mike Malott, alright? You know? Tired of this shit, but he was technically, like, one strike away every round to winning that fight. I legit had every round... Well, 50-50. Like, every round was a 50-50 fight. If Trevin Giles... Or every round was a 50-50 round. If Trevin Giles landed one jab, one more jab in every round, I give him the fight. Every round, I give him the fight. The whole... Like, I'd give him all 3. But the problem here is that I can't trust Trevin Giles to, like, go if he's behind. And I can't trust him to get a finish. This debut guy, debut jitters. A lot of debuts have been losing. I think Gustafsson's probably gonna, you know, I think he's gonna get past, you know, the debut jitters. I'm not really too worried about Gustafsson here against a guy like Trevin Giles, you know. I think Giles is on his way out. I just don't think he's UFC level at this point. You know, the Mike Malott performance, I know Mike Malott just finished Radke, great performance, but Malott still sucks, you know. Like, his best wins are, what, 8-4, Radke, and then what, like an 8-3 or 7-3 something Adam Fugit. You know, Carlos Prates, he was a victim in that fight. Radke was a victim in that fight. Math, MMA math, you know. I don't normally believe in MMA math all the time, but, you know, I just can't trust Jeff Giles at this point in his career. Moving on. Yeah, so the pick's going to be Andreas Gustafsson by decision. He could get the KO, you know? He looks like the type of guy to get the KO, but I'm going to wager he hurts Trevin Giles a few times pretty bad, and Trevin Giles can just survive. He's not that old, is he? 32? He's not that old. He's actually the younger fighter. That's kind of interesting, you know? Wow, the odds are close, eh? It's kind of interesting. But yeah, Trevin Giles, I just can't pick him to win a fight at this point. Moving on, we have Kurt Holiba. Let me just actually open these so I remember them. Wow, a lot of people. Oh my god, a lot of people are on Gustafsson by KO. That's kind of crazy. Anyways, moving on, we have Jordan Levitt versus Kurt Holiba. Kurt Holiba, guy who had a... Was it a split decision, I want to say, against Alexander Hernandez? Some people say he got robbed. I thought it was pretty clear 2-1 Hernandez. I mean, Did I have Hernandez picked? I don't even remember who I had picked, but I thought Hernandez won that clear. You know, they nowadays they just score fucking control time above everything. So yeah, Hernandez having fucking two minutes of control time in 2 rounds is just GG. You know, and Kurt just like couldn't get up. And Hernandez is not a big dude. He's a dense dude, but he's not like. that thick, you know what I mean? And Kurt didn't really look that filled in, you know? He looked like a 38-year-old man, which I think he is. So Kurt, little bit of a problem. This is the guy I'm thinking of, right? I don't want to look like a dumbass. It is Alexander Hernandez he lost to. It was close, to be fair, and Kurt had a lot of moments on the feet. Hernandez is not like this on the feet fucking phenom. Jordan Levitt kind of sucks on the feet as well, you know? If I was to wager who's going to win this fight, if this was a striking match, it's Kurt all the way. Jordan Levitt just looks like the dude about to get chin, you know? He looks like that nerd who's like in the tech class, always on the computer, and somebody makes fun of him, and he gets up, and like this is his face he looks at you with, just like, oh, you want to scrap? You want to go? Oh, I'll punch you right in your kisser, eh? You know? Let's step outside and get this going, you know? I don't know if he's English. What is he actually? He's American. Okay, he's American. You know, yeah. You know? Just a low testosterone voice is what we're looking at here. Famous for yapping. The Chase Hooper fight, and I think the Paddy Pimblett fight, he was an underdog. And he was yapping about him being the underdog, being like, I don't understand why I'm the underdog. I think I should be the favorite. I really think, you know, I really think that I'm a better grappler than these guys. And then he gets subbed. I think he got subbed by both of them. Did Paddy sub him? Trey Ogden, Paddy Pimblett, yeah, subbed, and then Chase Hooper also subbed them. Yeah, so, yeah, not really a good look. Jordan Levitt, all right. I almost said Vucenic, but the Monkey King, that's really his nickname. If Kurt Hollybaugh showcased he could get up from a takedown and showcase that he could defend like shitty takedowns, I probably would have picked him. And that fight wasn't too long ago, wasn't it? 2 months ago. I don't remember. Did he have a facial injury? I feel like he did. Maybe I'm misremembering. But regardless, I do think Jordan Levitt's going to win this. I think this might just be a classic, like, Levitt. I say a classic, but I think it might be a decision, man. To be honest with you, I think it's going to be Jordan Levitt just sort of normal. I think this is going to look like the Timu version of Pat Sabatini versus, who did he just fight? He beat Diego Lopez in the early, like before UFC. What was his name? Fuck. Pissing me off that I can't remember. But basically it's gonna look like that fight. It's gonna look like, hold on, now it's pissing me off. Pat Sabatini. I don't fucking know how to spell. Actually, I think I spelled that right. What was his last fight here? Pissed me off that I can't remember this. But he was basically going against a dangerous striker. I don't think Kurt's gonna be a dangerous striker. I think he's gonna be winning the striking exchanges. But I think he's going to go for a kick, get caught, and then dropped. Yeah, Jordan Anderson Brito. That's who it was. Yeah, so I think Jordan Levitt's winning this. I think he's just going to Nurmagomedov lay and pray his way to victory. And it's just going to be one of those just like fucking put the fries in the bag, little bro. Yeah, you know. I know he's like good on the ground. I mean, he better be with the way he fucking looks. But I don't know if I can trust him to get a sub on a guy like Kurt. Kurt's pretty decent on the ground when it comes to defending the chokes. And like sort of like he's not bad at trying to reverse position, but Kurt will just accept bottom. And I think that's kind of what we learned with that Hernandez fight. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Jordan Levitt. Moving on. Alan Nascimento versus Rafael Filho. Why do I not remember any of this guy's fights? Oh, it's because it was 2 years ago. That's why I don't remember any of this guy's fights. Jake Hadley decision. That has not aged well. He's no longer in the UFC. I think he was one of the first to beat him in the UFC, though. Carlos Hernandez, eh? Huh. Who the fuck is Carlos Hernandez? Why would I not remember Carlos Hernandez here? Near even odds. Who did Rafael just beat? Ode Osborne. hey, that's aged pretty well. Ode Osborne kept his career. Daniel Barres is actually a really good win. Not like a crazy win, but it's a good win. Muhammad Makayev, I think this is where like he had him in like a Mozavar Evloev type knee bar, if I remember correctly. Yeah, that was his first fight, eh? And now he's just on a tear. Yeah, I'm just gonna go Rafael Filo, I think. We're gonna go Filo by submission because this guy is he's got a good pace. Alan Nascimento could catch this guy going like Rafael Filo coming in. I think Filo's kind of toughed out. I think he's sort of feeling himself now, Filoing himself, if you will, in the division, I think he's really like sort of finding a home in the UFC. I think he might be like one of these sneaky, really good picks, like, what's his name? Ignacio Bahamondes, or like, is that the guy who just beat, Jalen Turner? I'm pretty sure it's Ignacio Bahamondes. Where they're just like sneaky good kind of everywhere, and you don't really know it until, later in the career. So I think I could see Rafael getting, this is flyweight. I think he could get a ranked opponent right after this, I think he's pretty good. How tall is he? 5'7"? It's not too bad. Reach? It's not crazy, but it's not too bad. Both Brazilians, eh? That kind of sucks. Hey, from Rio? Good movie. Animated movie, if you haven't seen it. You just didn't have a childhood. But yeah, gyms I don't recognize. Oh, shoot a box I actually do, yeah. But yeah, I'm gonna go submission. I don't like the long layoff, so I'm gonna say round one. Hey, fuck it, We're gonna get a round one sub here, guys. Now, I do think Phil Ho's gonna find a sub. I think this might be a club and sub situation. Rafael pushes a great pace. Nascimento needs to sort of find his way, doesn't find it fast enough. Gets caught in the early round. Clubbed and subbed, could be fucking Gilly. Could see Rafael pull a fucking Gilly. Could be a rear naked after jumping to the back after getting clubbed. Attempting a full mount. Guy rolls to his back. Rafael gets the back, locks in that rear naked. I could see it. But yeah, that's what I'm going with. Do people agree with me here? Damn, people are on the Nascimento side, really. That's interesting. What do they see? I don't like. Jake Hadley 3 years ago and Carlos Hernandez? Like, don't get me wrong, good win, but it's not like that crazy of a win. Didn't Carlos Hernandez just lose too? I don't like the looks of this. Filo by sub. Okay, so it looks like I do have brain cells. All right, moving on to Zacharyas versus Dusko Todorovic, whatever the fuck you want to call it. I like Dusko, man. I do think he's a little bit of a gamer, I think he's got that dog in him. His chin doesn't have the HP to fucking last, Zacharyas is good on the ground. I think he finds a KO here, I'll be honest. Dusko, I got a lot of respect for him, KO from Leroy Duncan, Mansour Abdul Malik. These aren't bad losses to have, technically, right? But my main problem here is, what's the reach looking like? Yeah, reach disadvantage, height disadvantage. Jack Reese being a big dude. This is what, middleweight? Yeah, middleweight. Like, I just think Dusko's cooked. 6'4" at middleweight is kind of, like, really good these days. Like, as far as heights go. Zacharyas, what, he got powerbombed or whatever it was? Ground and pound by Asmat, really? The Cody Brundage is, yeah, the slam KO. What? I don't remember that. Oh, shit. Ew, he's coming off a loss, hey? I think I probably picked him in that fight. Anyways, Zacharyas. He is a big, rangy dude. I do think he's good. You kind of have to have a danger. Dusko, he kind of doesn't have the, like, he has the skills, but he doesn't have the chin to back up, like, his sort of dog mentality. And he doesn't really have the ground. Like, he's good at preventing shit on the ground. I think when he got dropped in his last fight, he was trying to go for, like, a heel hook or something, and I just knew he was cooked. I think he got back up, and then I think maybe he got dropped again. It was something like that. But, yeah, I respect Dusko. I could see Dusko winning this. I just think he's gonna get fucking chinned, to be honest with you. I think it'll be a slow round 1 for both men. And then Zach Reese is gonna probably find his sort of tune, you know, in round 2. Probably later round 1, you're gonna see Dusko get dropped or wobbled pretty bad, and then round 2 is just gonna be where Zach finds that shot. He might even lose round 1, and his corner's like, yo, Zach, hurry it up, brother. All right, we need this finish, okay? Stop fucking getting clowned on by these bums. You know, and then Zach Reese is gonna kill him. War Training Center, is what it is. Yeah, Zach Reese by KO. You know, oh, damn. I thought I was, like, being 200 IQ with this KO pick. Fuck, everyone. God damn it. Son of a bitch. Alright, we're going submission. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, could be a club and sub situation, but I think Zach Reese is just gonna go for the KO. Big, rangy dude. Isn't terrible on the feet. He's young, too, yeah, 31. I mean, both men are pretty young, so it is what it is. Moving on, we have Caitlin Vieira, Maycee Chasson. Heads on the left, tails on the right. And we've got tails. Maycee Chasson is winning this via 29-28 decision. All right, guys? You know, she beat Mayra Bueno Silva, okay? And that's about all I care about. Is she the favorite? She's the underdog, okay? You know, but everyone's picking her, okay? So, she can win this fight, all right? Moving on, we have Dustin Jacoby versus Bruno Lopez. You know what? Listen, all right? Dustin Jacoby, I have, kind of like this guy, all right? I'm kind of a, you know, I'm a big Dustin Jacoby glazer, okay? You know, I'll be surprised if people aren't talking about him being pound for pound number 2 on the kickboxing tier list, okay? Back in the day, back in his prime. No longer in that prime, okay? But he did just sleep Vitor the Bombatrino. I called that shit. So shout out to my own YouTube channel. You can check my picks and predictions every single week on every single card. I do predictions on every single event of the UFC, okay? Yeah, I picked Dustin Jacoby in that, and I thought he was gonna, I thought he was gonna win a decision or sleep Vitor Petrino. He fucking smoked Vitor Petrino, and Vitor Petrino, in my opinion, was losing that fight, like easily losing 2 rounds. Then he slept him, Jorge Masvidal, Kamaru Usman style. Absolutely stumped him out cold. Called that shit. Beat Khalil Roundtree. Only got dropped, but he was whooping Khalil Roundtree, bell to bell, you know? And he didn't get finished by Khalil Roundtree. And Khalil, the only good thing I can give Khalil is that he throws with 100% effort, right? So if he's not finishing Dustin Jacoby, I don't think Bruno Lopez is, okay? Now, I know Dustin Jacoby does not have a great chin, all right? But he, like, what's his most recent finish loss? It's Dominic Reyes, right? Yeah, Dominic Reyes KO'd him, okay? Came back, whooped Vitor Petrino, okay? Who's beaten the great fucking Rodolfo Bellato, guys, all right? You know, but, Dominic Reyes, that is aged pretty well considering he slept Nikita Krylov, okay? And then what was the Alonzo Mendes? Yeah, I don't give a fuck about that. I think he got dropped in every round, and that's why he lost. But you know, Kennedy Nzechukwu, that's a good win, man. I like these wins, okay? I like these wins, and I like these losses from Dustin Jacoby. Could he get chinned? And would I be sad? Yes. However, I do think skill for skill, he's the better man. He could get chinned, but I think skill for skill, he is the better man. And you know what? I'm going to go Dustin Jacoby by KO. He's got aura right now. He's got momentum. He's coming off a bunch of interviews talking about how good Alex Pereira was. I wouldn't be surprised if Dustin Jacoby went and fucking trained with Alex Pereira after that performance. W, my man, Dustin Jacoby. I'm rooting for this guy. He's my pick. I'm going to be depressed if he gets just out of nowhere chinned. But it could happen, boys. All right, so prepare. But yeah, I'm going to go KO. I'm going to go KO late in the 3rd, okay? We're talking Bruno Lopez gassing out and Dustin Jacoby pouring it on, okay? You know, did he lose by KO? Yeah, he lost. Oh, Brenton Hibero fucking knocked this guy out? Hey, Hey, Dustin Jacoby's era is here, boys. All right, let's fucking go, Dustin Jacoby. Yeah, I think he's just gonna whoop him bell to bell. This guy's beat nobody. Magomed, blah blah. You know, like, fucking Dustin Jacoby's gonna whoop this kid. You know, is he? 32. He's not even that young either, and he got slept what 3 years ago, 2 years ago. You know, in his prime. You know, Dustin Jacoby's out here fucking going to wars at 38, 37. Okay, 36, 37. But you get the point, right? You know, reach advantage, height advantage. He's a big dude too. Like, he's a filled-in light heavyweight. I like this Dustin Jacoby fight. You know, I think he's got this shit in the bag. Moving on, we have Billy Ray Goff versus Ramiz Brahimaj. Okay. This is an interesting fight. This whole card sucks ass. This is kind of an interesting fight. Ramiz, I think, had a different fight, and now he's taking on Billy Ray Goff. Or it's the other way around, I can't remember. Regardless, Ramiz is coming off the win against Mickey Gall. Ow. You beat Mickey Gall. Oh, that's when a lot of people were like, oh, Mickey Gall is gonna win this one. They were pretty high on Mickey Gall, and then he got fucking smoked. But Mickey Gall does suck. Like, nobody cares. And there was moments where Mickey Gall was having a lot of success against Ramiz here. Lost to Themba, not really a bad loss. And if I remember correctly, that was like an elevation. I want to say that was elevation. I could be wrong there. I'm not gonna lie. Beat Michael Gilmore, guys. Does he have a win on anyone who's like fucking still around? Like, who the fuck are these guys? Like, what the fuck? He is good on the ground. He doesn't have a win on a fucking guy in the UFC right now. I think Mickey Gall got cut. Billy Ray lost to Trey Waters. I think that's a fight a lot of people are like, Billy Ray was robbed. It was, this, that, and the other. I thought Trey Waters won that. I'll be honest, but it was a good fight. It was a close fight. I thought Trey Waters had no chin. I thought he was going to get chinned. Turns out he has a fucking decent chin for being a freakazoid height level. Billy Ray's also what? Like 5'10"? Okay, that's not too bad. The reason why this fight's a little more interesting than the odds suggest, though, because 4-1's kind of wild, 3-1's, a little ridiculous. Ramiz could take this guy down and just sub him, because I don't know if Billy Ray is actually that good on the ground and how well he can defend takedowns and shit. Haven't really seen that from him. And Ramiz is like a legit grappler. It just all comes down to, if Ramiz wants to fight on the feet, I think he gets chinned. But if Ramiz is smart and shoots a takedown and Billy Ray can't defend it, then he's getting the sub. But the question is Billy Ray the guy we think he is? Like, he might be a dog in the striking, but like, that doesn't really matter against a grappler, you know? Like, it doesn't matter if you're Esteban Ribovics if, like, Gamrot can just get you down. You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of the problem there. You know? This is, doesn't matter if you're Trevor Peak if fucking, Mozavar Evloev can just hold you down. Trevor Peak's a featherweight, right? It might be a bantamweight. I can't remember. But regardless, yeah, this is like really just a 50-50. But Ramiz doesn't, like, the thing with Ramiz is he doesn't have a win on anyone on the roster that I can think of. And if these guys still are on the roster, fucking cut him, okay? 50-50, 50-50 fighter. What gym is it? This is really tough. I think I'm gonna go Billy and just hope he can defend the takedowns and hope Ramiz goes for the striking. 15-minute fight. I gotta bet there's gonna be some, like, the problem, man, because, like, this could be one of those grappling situations where Ramiz is just spamming takedowns round one and Billy Ray's just too tired to, like, get the finish. and he's already, like, round 1 is remise, round 2 is close. Like, I can so see this. And then round 3, Billy wins, but he just can't find the finish, and they give it to remise, split decision, some shit like that. I can so see that happening. I'm gonna go with Billy, though, purely because I think he wants to get back on that win column. Nah. I don't... It's tough, man. Like, I don't want to pick remise because he's not that great on the feet. Even though he is coming off a KO, I get it, but... Yeah, I'm gonna go with Billy Ray Goff. I'm gonna hope he's got good takedown defense. At this point, you know, just watch Merab defend takedowns, okay? He defends them. Everyone else should be defending takedowns like Merab, you know? If Remise was like a bigger dude or even a shorter dude, maybe I'd probably pick Remise. But because they're roughly the same height, Billy's got to be able to get those underhooks pretty fast. He's got to be able to, like, shuck off the dude. But Remise is probably more filled in than Billy Ray Goff. That's the thing. I'm going to go with Billy. I'm going to say he gets a KO. I'm going to say he gets a decision. I'm going to say round 1 is remise. Round 2 is close. But there's at least going to be 2 judges that give it to Billy Ray Goff. And then round 3 is going to be Billy's. That's my guess. That's where my money is. All right? Not actually, because I'm not actually gambling on this fight. But yeah, that's my picks. Moving on. Mateusz Gamrot versus Ludovic Klein. The actual main event, which should be the main event. Holy shit. When the fuck did Gamrot look like that? Oh my god, he looks like a Chad. Jesus Christ. This guy looks like he might be... This looks like Dricus du Plessis. If he wasn't on fucking roids. No, you know, that whatever African juice they're letting him fucking, you know, guzzle down over there. Alright? But is it just me, or does Gamrot in this photo not look like... Or looks like DDP 1-to-1. Like, this is like DDP, Yuri Prohaska mixed together. Like, what the fuck? Who is this handsome looking devil? God damn. Anyways. I'm not going to think too much of this fight. Listen, Ludovic Klein's not that bad. And just to remind people of how shit this card is. Ludovic Klein's not fucking ranked, okay? Joel Alvarez, Grant Dawson. Ludovic Klein's not even ranked, okay? So you have number 7 against unranked. Just to remind everyone how dog shit this card is, okay? We have 1 ranked male fighter on the entire card, okay? Just saying. But Gamrot's good. Gamrot's really good. I know a lot of people are on the Ludovic Klein side. I kind of get why. I do think this is either going to be Pat Sabatini, Diego Lopez, where it's going to be... Gamrot in the build-up is going to be like, yeah, man, I'm going to strike. I'm going to prove my striking's better. Like he said with the Dan Hooker fight, which I picked Dan Hooker. Everybody else was picking fucking Gamrot, okay? I picked Dan Hooker, all right? I'll take that to my fucking grave. I was one of the only people on the internet picking Dan Hooker in that matchup, okay? Making picks and predictions. Just to clarify. I was super high on Dan Hooker to win that. I know Gamrot's good. And I think so far I've got like 100% pick rate with Gamrot. Gamrot is really good. He was about to get exposed on the feet by Rafael Fiziev. I think he got an ego because he got the TKO over Fiziev. And he's a bitch for celebrating the way he did, even though Fiziev's knee blew out. I do think Fiziev beats him. I don't think Ludovic Klein beats him. I don't think Ludovic Klein's all this, you know? I get he's, like, not that bad. Or, sorry, I get, like, he's really good in terms of, like, an overall skill set. He's got good grappling. He's like a Walmart JDM, but at lightweight. But he is just, like, a little bit worse everywhere than JDM. You know? Like, his boxing isn't that good. His kicks are good. But, I don't know. Like, he makes it really close with fights he shouldn't be making it close with. Like, his last fight was against who? Yeah, exactly. Roosevelt fucking Roberts, you know? Thiago Moises, that hasn't aged well. Jared Gordon just finished him in round 1. You know? AJ Cunningham, that is the fight I remember watching Ludovic Klein. That I think that was the first time I saw Ludovic Klein. Sick performance, short notice, up a weight class, AJ Cunningham, I believe, if I'm not mistaken. Ignacio Bahamondes aged very well, not gonna lie, but it is just like I think he's just barely winning these fights, you know? Like, there's always a caveat. Short notice, up a weight class, AJ. Thiago Moises fucking sucks. Roosevelt Roberts fucking sucks. Like, we haven't seen this guy versus an actual ranked opponent, or like a ranked... Well, I guess Ignacio's ranked now, so I guess that's there, to be fair. But I think Gamrot's like willing to do whatever it takes to win this fight because he wants to get back in the win column so he can be the backup fighter for the main not main event. Yeah, he's actually number 18th. Wow, that's kind of crazy. But yeah, so Gamrot can be the backup fighter for the main event of a title fight, maybe for the Ilya Charles. Gamrot's really good. He trains with Renato Moicano, and he's almost the same as Renato, just a little bit more wrestling, a little less more submission, but he's got that whole sort of grappling, MMA grappling style. It's not necessarily a jiu-jitsu grappling style. It's definitely a lot more of an MMA, get to a good position, hold you in that position. He does get dropped in every fight. Not in every fight, but he does get dropped a lot. Is Ludovic Klein going to wobble Gamrot, drop Gamrot? Probably. Gamrot's really open on the feet, similar to Renato Moicano. I think Gamrot's chin is a little bit better than Renato Moicano's. That's not really saying much, but I do think he's going to be able to survive whatever Ludovic Klein has, you know? Ludovic Klein could land like a great knee off of a Gamrot takedown, because Gamrot's got nice takedowns, but they kind of are like, you know when Gamrot's about to shoot type thing. And we've seen a lot of people be able to sort of like move with Gamrot on his back. But I do think Gamrot's just gonna like lay and pray this one out, and this is either gonna look like Pat Sabatini, Joe Anderson Brito, or it's gonna look like Pat Sabatini, Diego Lopez, you know? And if you don't understand the sort of analogies there, you're either gonna see Gamrot lay and pray for 3 rounds, in my personal opinion. Very little striking from Gamrot, maybe, you know, catches a kick, gets the takedown off the kick, you know, or like Ludovic Klein whiffs like an overcommitment shot and then gets taken down. Or we're going to see Gamrot want to strike in the first round with Klein, get wobbled pretty bad, sort of run away as he's wobbled, and then just get fucking finished, like flatline KO'd. I don't think Ludovic Klein's all that, you know, I don't see it. I don't see what these other people are seeing with like the finishing potential with Ludovic Klein. Is he good? Could he get the finish? Yeah. But I'd reckon his odds are like a 5 to 10% of getting a finish. I don't even think they're that much, you know? And if this was a 5-rounder, maybe I'd pick Ludovic. But Gamrot, like, off a loss, I think he's going to be looking to just get the win, you know? I think that's kind of how this is going to go. And yeah, I mean, there's not really too much else to say. You know, 34, I get it, he's aging a little bit more. Ludovic Klein, 30, I get it, young buck. But I just don't see it. He's like a big dude, too. You know, I just think Gamrot's the better fighter out of the two. You know, if we're talking skill for skill, Gamrot's striking isn't like that bad. You know, it really isn't that bad. It is just if he goes against dogs who are willing to brawl it out, he will lose, and that's why I picked Dan Hooker. Klein, I don't think has that same level of dog as like Dan Hooker. I think that's a fact. But I don't think that, like, Klein is going to be able to force a dogfight, you know, where Gamrot's pushing forward, you know, and Ludovic's on the back, you know, just throwing fucking hooks while circling out. You know, I just don't see it. I see Ludovic Klein throwing a few low kicks. I think one of them's going to try to be a body kick. I think Gamrot's going to catch it, sweep the feet, get him down, and then just fucking... That's where Ludovic Klein is for 4 minutes, just on the ground, you know? It's kind of how I see it for 5 rounds. But yeah, my pick's Gamrot. I understand why people are picking Ludovic Klein. I get it. Gamrot is chinny. He's been getting dropped. But so is Renato Moicano. Renato's been getting fucking dropped for the last couple years. You know? And I think Gamrot is that level. You know, he is. I think he's higher ranked. Is he? He might be higher ranked than Renato Moicano right now. I think that's roughly where he is. You know, trains with a guy like Dustin Poirier as well. Poirier, Renato, and fucking Gamrot. That's like your all-around dog fighter. You know, another really good grappler to train from, and then you just being a good grappler in general. So I think Gamrot's got it in the bag. Yeah, he lost to Beneil Dariush, but that was a while ago. Gamrot seems to be pretty strategic with who he picks to fight, you know. Fiziev, that was going to be a rough one for him, but he picked RDA. He picked Dan Hooker. He thought he could beat him. It was close, but he got dropped because Dan Hooker is underestimated, a very underrated fighter, even in his later years. So I'm going with Gamrot, you know. I got Gamrot by decision. Moving on. Erin Blanchfield, Maycee Barber. Heads on the left, tails on the right. I don't give a fuck. It's a women's main event. I don't care at all. Heads, I said heads was on the left. Erin Blanchfield's winning this. I was going to pick Blanchfield regardless of the coin. Yeah, she's just, like, I just think she's better. This is going to be 5 rounds of just boring, like, shitty fighters. And then just nothing, you know. Probably going to be Alexa Grasso versus whatever fucking bum she just fought. But for 5 rounds. I think that's how this is going to go. And if it's not like that, maybe there's a finish. Maybe Erin gets a fucking sub. I don't care. It's a woman's main event. Anyways, that has been my picks and predictions for this fight card. UFC Fight Night. Let's be honest here. Gamrot versus Ludovic Klein. Okay, this is the main event. I might genuinely turn off the... I might go to bed, depending on what time it is for this fucking main event. I don't care about this fight. But yeah, that has been my picks and predictions. I want to thank you for making it all the way to the end of this video. And as always, I hope you have a good day.